Welcome to Kids Story Theater, and this is your narrator, Robin. I'm talking about my story Treasury that I wrote when I was around 9 years old in this book here. Shall we begin? Contents: The Small Green Frog, Superstar, Tex, Man and Lady, Jessica, The Big Party, Hamsters, Who's That? I Know, Church Time, A Lady Laughing, Picture, Prayer and Story, He, The Baby Whale, Shamu, The Magic Rose, 3-inch Girl, and Jesus Feeds 5,000. That was part 1 of the contents. Part 2 of the contents: Alan McGraw, Baby Hamsters, Mouse Manners, The New Bird, My Birthday 1, My Birthday 2, Can't Walk, Alphabet, Jim Jet, Bunnies of Susie, Traveling Bears, Wacky Wild Waters, My Baby Brother, At the Beach, The Sprite Hideout, Tropical, Dreams Come True, Pumpkin, Mayday, The Snowball Fight, Fireworks, My Valentine, Summer Sadness, Good Luck, New York Again, School Days, Halloween, Sailing, and finally, The 3-Day Storm. All coming to you in the next few segments. The Small Green Frog. One day when I saw a little brown tadpole, I wanted to keep him. I saw that old bucket that I used it to keep tadpoles, but some magic turned them to frogs, so I took him home to keep. But in the morning, he too was a frog. We decided to call him Greenie. Greenie liked me. He liked the games the other frogs liked to play, so he joined the games they liked to play. And there's Greenie the tadpole and Greenie the frog. How cute! Superstar. Superstar is a toothpaste tube who helps children brush their teeth. Count Placula puts cavities in their teeth. The Superstar Magic Club has rings to remind them to brush their teeth again. They told everybody that the rings help them brush their teeth. And there he is, Mr. Superstar himself, the Colgate toothpaste tube with all the stars around him. Woo! Tex. One time there was a boy named Tex. Tex was new in school. His teacher asked him his name and he said, "Texas." His teacher said, "If you don't tell me your true name, I will send you to the principal. Now what's your name?" He said, "Texas." So she sent him to the principals. The principal said, "If you don't tell me your real name, I will stab you with your knife." He said, "Texas." So he stabbed him. When he got home, he said, "Deep in the heart of Texas, that there is Tex himself with his knife." Man and lady. One day a man sat on a bench. A lady came and sat down. The lady was doing this. The man was doing this. The lady asked him, "Why are you doing this? You got it from the earth." Man, "No, I got it from my nose and I'm looking for a place to put it." Okay, two strangers sitting on a park bench. Weird. True story happened in Midland, Texas in October 1987. Jessica. There was a little girl about 18 months old who fell in a well on Wednesday. Many people worked on Wednesday, but they didn't get her out. They worked all day that day, all day the next day, but they still could not get her out. They worked all day the next day, and soon at night they got her out. Everyone cheered. Even they announced it everywhere, and everyone cheered. Mama singing Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. And that there's Jessica. The big party. Zeke lived in China. His party was coming. He was planning it. He invited 20 kids and 10 adults. He had a baby brother and a big sister. His brother was Chang. His sister was Susie. Soon it came. It was the happiest day of Zeke's life. Now, I don't know how this story can be possible since China won't let their people have more than one kid, and there's Susie, Chang, and Zeke blowing out the candles. Hamsters. Hamsters are fuzzy. Hamsters are warm. Hamsters are very cute. Their noses wiggle back and forth. They run on wheels a lot. They look a lot like mice, but they're not. When you hold them in your hands, they are so soft. I have 2 hamsters named Josh and Charlie. Josh is brown, Charlie is gray. Josh is fat, Charlie is thin. Josh is big, Charlie is small. Funniest surprise of all, Josh is actually Charlie's mama. And there's Josh and Charlie right there. Who's that? Once someone named Zipperonzo made a mask. He went to town. He put on his mask and forgot about it. He went to town. Everyone said, "Who's that?" One said, "It's a monster." "Then hide quick, everyone." Soon the mask fell off. Everyone chased him. Once the enemies came, Zipperonzo put on his mask. He scared them to death, so they ran away. Some monsters came. Zipperonzo went too. He finally found where he belonged. There's Zipperonzo in the middle of his monster family. I know. At school, the teacher asked, 1 + 1 is what? Everyone said, I know the answer. But I raised my hand. Soon the teacher called on me, and I said, I know 1 + 1 is 2. Good, said the teacher. Do you know 2 + 2? Yes, I do. 2 + 2 is 4. Good, the teacher answered. Then come and tell us 3 + 3 and 4 + 4 and 5 + 5. I wrote it on the blackboard. And there's the lovely picture of me doing my numbers and impressing the teacher and the students. Woohoo! Church time. It was Sunday. We all went to church. I was frightened to see somebody in the front of the auditorium, so I sat in Mom's lap. In no time at all, I fell asleep, and that made me feel less embarrassed. When I was home, I woke up, falling asleep and listening to the preacher and waking up at home. This one's written by a friend of mine named Lauren, and it's disgusting, so I apologize in advance. It's called A Lady Laughing. One day, a lady was laughing because she had a booger in her nose, and she pulled it out, and she started to throw up. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I'm going to go throw up now, too. And my friend Lauren also included this other picture that she drew, and I will admit that this is a lot better than the story she wrote. Prayer to God. I want Miranda's arm to heal and everyone traveling to make it, and thank you that field day was good. And there's God and Jesus smiling in heaven. And Miranda was a girl in my class who had a broken arm, by the way. And my friend Cassie wrote this story called A Day at the Circus on the same page as my prayer to God. A day at the circus. One day I went to the circus. I saw lions and tigers and bears. It was fun. Oh my! He is a small creature. I wanted him to not be frightened of the dark. He doesn't know many things. Most people don't believe in him. He is a green creature about 3 inches. Well, that's the whole story of he. Bye-bye. And I guess this is some guy in a zippered costume pretending to be he saying, help! The baby whale. A mother whale had a baby. Everyone went to see it. Soon the baby was old enough to swim. Soon winter came. We went to our winter home. I led the tribe. When we got there, the other whales had babies. Soon we went back to where we lived. And there's mama whale with baby whale. How cute! Speaking of whales, the story of Shamu. Shamu. Mamu was tired. She was soon going to have a baby. Soon she had a baby boy. She decided to name him Shamu. Shamu, what a wonderful name for her baby. She taught him how to swim. Shamu swam upside down and walked on his tail. He did many things that the killer whales could not do. The killer whales looked at Shamu, then they looked at each other, then they looked back at Shamu. Mamu was the only one that never quit looking at him, just to be sure he was safe. And there's a picture of Mama Mamu watching son Shamu going swimming. Ain't it cute, if you can see it very well. The magic rose. One day a bud on a rose bush was wishing to be pretty like the other roses. The next day the bud was prettier than before. All the other roses stared at the Rose Queen. She had a wand, too. She also had dew on her skirt. All the other roses said, "She'll pick me! No, she'll pick me!" The small bud did not say a word, but she wanted to pick a rose. But she picked the bud instead. Flower fight. There's two big flowers fighting over who the Rose Queen's gonna pick, and then the bud getting picked by the Rose Queen. Pretty. The 3-inch girl. Once there was a little family. There were 3 people in the family. Their names were kids, July, Tommy, parents, Marcy and Tim. That's not 3 people. And Tim found a dollhouse and put a back on it. Soon everyone went in it. The lady who lived in the big house thought, "Oh well, Jenny can't play with this dollhouse." "Jenny," called her mother, "I must take your dollhouse to the dump." When her mother was all the way downstairs, Jenny said, "No, I'll take it." Just as soon as she was out the door, she saw a family. She set to work making a whole town, and all the little people moved to the village in Jenny's backyard. And every day Jenny checked on the village, and there's Jenny checking on the village. My rendition of Jesus Feeds 5,000. Once there was a boy named Timothy. He knew Jesus, but he never did see Jesus. One day, he was preparing the boat to go fishing. Timothy saw Jesus in the hills. He asked his parents if he could go. He also brought his lunch. Jesus broke the bread and fishes. When they were done, there were 12 baskets full. And there's Jesus preaching to the 5,000 people before feeding them. This is the story of my cousin Alan McGraw. Alan is 3 = 3 years old. He sometimes bites people. He has bit Michael, Travis, Cliff, and Robin. Alan's partner for goofing off and playing around is Cliff. I got bit by Alan when we were leaving the 4th of July. Baby hamsters. There once was a female hamster. She had 3 babies. When they were not blind anymore, she taught them how to eat hard food chunks. She taught them how to run on the wheel, and how to go up the tube, and how to reach the water. Why, she even taught them about God and how to memorize memory verses. And there's some baby hamsters climbing. My book report of Mouse Manners by Sally Lucas. A mouse saw a little house. "What a nice little house," said the mouse. The mouse opened the door and went inside. And here he is, about to open the door and go inside. The new bird. One day a mother laid an egg. Soon it hatched. She named her Borta. Borta, what a wonderful name. This bird was a speed limit bird. Borta was a kind-hearted bird. She was nice to other birds. She had brothers and sisters in her family. Borta was her mother's favorite. Aw, Mama Birdie and baby bird Borta. Based on a dream, my birthday, part 1. I fell in this hole one time. I landed on hay, got up. Someone said, "The animals scared me." I wondered, what animals? I went upstairs and fell through. I heard noises. There was a door right in front of me. Some animals looked at me. They were watching a movie. I was sitting by a nice man watching a Kermit movie, or The Muppets Take Manhattan. Right there on the big screen. There we are watching it. Continuing the dream, my birthday, part 2. When the movie was over, I got up the broken stairs. I did not know where I was. I was at my birthday! The cake was cute. It was a donkey cake. Soon I opened one present. I found a donkey named Dee Dee. He looked just like the donkey cake. We ate and sang. Even Dee Dee Donkey ate cake. My donkey cake! Also based on a dream, can't walk. It was at the zoo. A burglar came. Everyone ran but me. I started running and fell. Then I crawled, bought a cow that looked like a rock. And then I tried to ride the rock that looked like a cow or the cow that looked like a rock. Giddy up! Alphabet. A baby chases dogs. Elephant fired goose. Harry Island Jazz's kitchen likes making new opinions. Poor Queen Rabbit stood toward us vinistered. Walton's x-rays. Yikes! Zebra? Whatever some of those words mean. Jim Jet. Jim was a plane. He flew a lot. There was one problem about Jim. He always crashed. He had to take flight school. Jim Jet learned to fly wings out, wings in, upside in, swirl in. He soon flew with lots of people, and he made it safely to the next airport. The driver called Jim Jet the flying champion. There's Jim Jet. Zoom! Bunnies of Susie. Susie was a little girl. She owned some rabbits. She kept them in the forest, behind the garden and across the field and through the tool shed. Then that way she made it to the forest, over a bridgeless river to a cave, and that was the bunny farm. Mr. and Mrs. Bunn were waiting. Susie said to move to the side of the cave. Susie brought some things from home to the cave. When Susie grew up, she married and took care of her rabbits. Aw, Susie wants to hold the baby bunny. Traveling bears. Bears once lived in Nevada and went to Colorado and traveled to Utah, New York, Louisiana, and Texas. Yeah! They rode horses, beat Snorf Chalet. They traveled to California too. There they found a tall pine tree and climbed it. They slept there through night. People threw litter and they went back to their home in Nevada. What's this I see up in the tree? Why, it's some bears! Wacky wild waters. A mystery has not been recovered. Gredon Hansen has seen rainbow waters. The water was lakes of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, gold, and silver. Many, many, many people swim in this very colorful lake. No fish are in this lake. The mayor chose a name for this lake. He called it Rainbow Lake. How creative. And there's a not very good picture of Rainbow Lake in black and white. Cuddly Koala wrote a story called My Baby Brother. Ever since my brother was born, I could not sleep. It took me all night to sleep. I did not like him at first, but now I am getting used to having him around. He is growing up now, and he is getting easy to handle with him. And there's Mom changing the baby brother while Cuddly Koala feels kind of left out. At the beach, 2 rabbits went to the beach. They built a sand castle big enough for them to fit in. The son went surfing. His stopped were sharks. He finally made it to the beach just in time for lunch. After lunch, the rabbits brought water for the moat of the castle. They played in the sand castle and swam in the sand castle moat. The sand castle may be still there now. There's Big Brother Gentleness the rabbit and little sister Patty the rabbit playing with their sand castle. The Sprite Hideout. In a kingdom far away through the deep dark woods, there was a hollow area and some bushes. Sprites lived there. There were 5 separate rooms. The Sprite spy spied on some children who had very wicked parents. The Sprite spy went back to the hideout and told them about the children. When the children were grounded, they told the kids to run away. So they did, and the kids and the Sprites were living happily in the hideout. The first kids to the Sprite hideout since Rainbow Bright. Tropical by Jellybean. Jellybean. I heard a feast is being held tomorrow. Tenderheart. A feast? Muffy. Who's invited? Lots of heart. May I do the cooking? Lovable. I'll cook too. Muffy. I'll make a gazebo to eat under. Tenderheart. I'll make seats to sit on. Narrator. They all worked hard, and soon it came. They dressed in their best clothes. All, the food is good! Lots of heart. Can we do this next week? Jellybean. The food was the most delicious. Lots of heart. And that's the truth. He's the Care Bear cousin, by the way. And there's the party gazebo made by the party stuffed animals themselves. Pumpkin. Pumpkin sat in the middle of the hall and went into the bathroom. Robin left water in the sink for him, and he lapped it all up. Well, not all of it up. He was still lapping it up, and then started twitching his tail. He shook off and arched his back. Then he went over to the mirror. Then he licked his paw. Then he looked around. He jumped on the floor and sat in a beaky style. He let out a loud sigh. He was very still for a moment. The end. There's me spying on Pumpkin as he went about his business. And he's sitting in the beaky style right now in the picture. And that's when they look like a loaf of bread or a muffin and have their arms and legs tucked under them. January, the snowball fight. Kay, Beanie, Carol, and Tommy got on the roof of the apartment. Myra and Billy threw snowballs at each other on the ground. They stopped and they all took a walk. On the way home, they saw some boys picking on Kelly. Kay flew in the air with the water gun. It was still snowing, so she squirted the boys. Myra flew down and got Kelly. The boys were frozen. Kelly's dad was being chased. Myra, Beanie, and Billy tried lifting him up. Kay, Carol, and Tommy took them home. The next day, the boys were at the same spot. Dun, dun, dun. When Kelly came, they had the championship fight. Go! The biggest boy said. They fought and fought. Carol used the gun, the water gun. The boys surrendered and ran away. They soon had a party to celebrate the victory. And there was one of the frozen boy-sickles getting pelted. February, my Valentine. Kay, Myra, Beanie, Tommy, and Billy said bye to Kelly and Carol, who went with her. They found out that it was a holiday, so they looked in the locker hall. When the bell rang, Carol and Kelly hid. They saw Tyler put a letter in Carrie's locker, so when Carrie came out, they told her about it. The letter read, I want to be your boyfriend. I love you. Tyler. Carrie did not like that. Carol and Kelly took her to their home. She got help there. Phew. The next day, they talked to Tyler. He then gave up. Carrie passed out Valentines to her friends, Kay, Myra, Beanie, Carol, Kelly, Tommy, and Billy. The Valentines read, "Thank you for helping me. Love, Carrie. I love you." March. Good luck. Kay, Tommy, Billy, Myra, Beanie, Carol, and Kelly were digging up to find a treasure. "Ouch!" Myra screamed. They looked down. They saw Myra in the hole and pulled her out. "My ankle is broken." They helped Myra back to the home. On the way, they stopped to eat. Kelly's dad let Myra rest in the camper. He took them all home. That night, Beanie, Myra's younger sister, was worried. She got in Myra's bed. She was so worried. She dreamed the same dream. The dream was that she and Myra boarded a boat. There were 5 other kids their age, too. They headed for Hawaii. She could tell Myra's leg would still hurt because in the dream Myra was limping. The next day, the doctor put a cast on Myra's ankle. From that day on, Kay thought of going to Hawaii. And there's Myra with her cast. Want to sign it? April. Dreams come true. Carol and Kay were packing up their things. Carol was reading a newspaper from Hawaii. While Kay was talking, she backed up into the portable pool. Beanie came outside with Myra. Myra was limping. Billy came out and said they would not see Kelly again until September. When they boarded the plane to Hawaii, Jack sat by Carol and wanted to be part of them. When they made it, Tommy played a guitar while the girls did the hula dance. They found their vacation home and unpacked there. That night, the kids slept peacefully and thought of May Day. May Day was a very exciting festival. May Day. Kay, Myra, Beanie, Carol, Billy, Tommy, and Jack woke up the next morning. They put their swimsuits on. The current of the waterfall was called the entrance curtain. The current took them to the 7x7 rock. Jack had a plan for building a May Day gazebo, which was their job to build. They put the palm trees together and they finished it. More people got food and surfboards and other things. Before lunch, they watched the hula dance show. Then they got boards and went surfing. After that, they ate some lunch. Then they could feel free to do the hula dance. Then they could do anything. Then that night was full of sleeps. Woohoo! June. Summer sadness. All spring, the children knew the summer would be hot. They were right. In June, they always slept. The next morning, the kids went to the beach. They swam, surfed, picnicked, and built sand castles. They also rode down their waterfall. They went to bed. The next morning, they got a letter from Kelly. It read, "I miss you. Will you come back in September? You can go to school with me. I will be in kindergarten. My dad signed me up for September school. That means I will only go to school in September." They wrote back to Kelly. It said, "We miss you too. We will come back in September. We will go to September school with you. We will be very interested in kindergarten." And there's their correspondence with Kelly and Kay. July. Firecrackers. As usual, Beanie was the first one up. She dressed and went to Current Rock. The others went there. Carol had a plan of fireworks and a big party. She gave orders for Kay and Beanie to cook, Jack and Danny to get fireworks, Myra and her to sew uniforms, and Billy and Tommy to make the stadium. The next day was the 4th of July. The people got their cake and ate. Before that, they got on the uniforms. They had a party that day. At night, everyone sat on the bleachers. Crash! A red and blue firework exploded. They watched all the fireworks. That night was soon full of sleeps. August, New York again. It was after lunch. Kay was pouring a glass of milk when Jack came in. He startled her. She spilt milk all over herself. Then Danny came in. Danny told Kay it was time to go back to New York. They packed up and flew back to New York. They soon found the phone number of September School. Then they wrote Kelly a letter, and it said, "Hey Kelly, good news! We will come to September School. But first, we will see our classroom. We came back to New York. See you in September." Kay, Myra, Beanie, Carol, Billy, Tommy, Jack, and Danny. Soon, right before September, they saw their classroom. The teacher was Mrs. Culpepper. They saw Kelly, too. Kelly! Kelly! Ah! September. School days. Kay was walking to school with her friends. She sat down on the front row. She put her books away. Kelly sat behind her and copied her order. After recess, Kay and the gang told Kelly about Hawaii. Myra was walking back home. Mary told her to look out for Sammy. Sammy saw her. He took her to the cafeteria. It was empty except for 3-day preschool. She looked at her code. She blew the whistle for attention. A whistle blew back. Joey, Kelly's little brother, ran to her rescue. For days it went this way. Mary and Myra promised to get even in December. To forget it, they took a vacation in the outback. October, Halloween. Kay and her friends went camping. Kay floped the tennis racket. She was making flapjacks. Tommy and Kelly played tennis with pancakes. They found a cave called the Bushat. They went in it. They saw Bushman and Dot. Dot was their friend. They watched a slideshow about the cave's legendary monster, the Bunyip. They soon got fresh water from the spring. They soon saw the rooms. They stayed there all month. At the end of October, they sailed back home. The boat went so slow that it would take all November to sail. And crikey, there's the Bunyip movie, mate! November, sailing, sailing. All of Kay's friends were having fun on the deck. Kay listened to the radio. When a bad report interrupted, everyone listened. It said a report from the Pacific was that Jaws was reported east and a storm was west. Bad rocks were south. Airline delivers were north, going to New York. Kay headed for airline delivers. When they made it, they hid. In a box. A crane lifted them on the plane. The box had food in it, so they were lucky. If they had not boarded the plane, it would take all December, too. They ate the food and lasted. When they got to New York, it was December 1st. Peekaboo in the box. December, the 3-day storm. Kay and her friends were babysitting Joey, Kelly's little brother. A report about a tornado was in New York City. Myra and Mary took 2 bats to get even with Sammy. They promised him in September. They attacked. Boom! Oh no, Mary went cuckoo! Myra was shocked. Sammy hit Myra, but the bat bounced and hit him too. All 3 of them were knocked out. When they got up, they were friends and went to Mary's house. They all went to sleep where Kay was. The next day was the 22nd. They ate pizza with Mrs. Lee and told Santa what they wanted for Christmas. When it rained again, they went back home. They went to sleep. The next morning, Mrs. Lee made breakfast. They ate and watched TV all day. But that was still boring. Right before night, Mrs. Lee left because Kelly, Mary, and Joey's parents would be back and the storm would be over. So they went to bed and slept. The next day, the storm was over and their parents were back. They opened presents, but the best part was that it was no longer Kay, Myra, Beanie, Carol, Billy, Tommy, Jack, and Danny, for Kelly, Mary, Joey, and Sammy joined. They all laughed and happy tears filled their eyes. The end. And there's all 12 of them, with the numbers above their head means the order that they joined, and I'm about to go through it so you can be even more bored with me. Hang on a moment. There's Kay, Myra, Beanie, Carol, Billy, Tommy, Kelly, Jack, Danny, Mary, Joey, and Sammy. And that's the conclusion for our entire story treasury. Yay!